The Writer House, 2016, 100,000 Poets for Change global event. Woohoo! Yes. Yes, bring it back. Thank you, each of you for showing up and being present and participating in this amazing day. Around the world, there are over 500 events occurring on the date of September 24th in global solidarity. Artists, musicians, writers, performing artists, the mimes are back in Cairo. There's an aerial artist in California. The event, which began 6 years ago with an email invitation to poets in 90 countries, has continued to grow and expand. It's considered by Stanford University the world's largest poetry event in history. And it also is recognized as a grassroots initiative. So it is a great joy and honor to be with you today. I'm Holly Lazaron. I'm the volunteer coordinator of the event. And we had postcards made this year. If anybody wants one for your Good Times book, okay, pass them around. We have, we're going to go ahead and start. We have a couple people who are going to be coming later. And I'm going to begin first by asking us to take a moment and pause as we come together in this amazing community. You know, history's being made here today. This is the first time ever this particular group of people has been together at Writer House and for this event. So I really appreciate that some folks have traveled from here and others from far to be here and participate. Let's take a moment before we jump into our jam-packed rest of the day or rest of the event to come together a bit as a community. Just take a breath, feel the seat beneath you and your feet on the floor. Here's Sigrid.
I'm sorry. I have to bring my dog with food crazy here.
That's fine. Do what you need to do, Sigrid. Thank you for being here. Sorry. It's hard. Just relax. So let's bring our attention inward for a moment. Feel the feet beneath, feel the floor beneath our feet and the earth beneath the floor. And let's just for a moment give our attention to earth and the support that we're experiencing. The chair is supporting us, so is earth. Can we be in agreement to do that? Thank you, earth. Earth that nourishes us in all of life. And just breathe for a minute, because you're going to have your time to shine very soon. And let's focus our attention. Can we agree to do that? Focusing up, skyward, sun, moon, stars, whatever word you might use in your own language, and say thank you for this infinite mystery that has brought us all together today. Look how many different cultures are represented today. So we thank for the inspiration and that creative fire that has brought us together and that keeps us writing and singing and dancing. And again, just for a moment together, can we be in agreement to focus and say thank you to all the aspects of life that support us, the plants, the animals who nourish us, sun, rain, stars at night. I'd like to also thank Michael Rothenberg and Terry Carrion for their inspiration to initiate this event 6 years ago, to have the courage to send that first email out to poets in 90 countries inviting them to locally coordinate an event. And here we are today. And let's thank also all the animal species that we share this planet with. And also, I invite you to say thank you to water. It's so fundamental to life. And this is water that has come from over 350 different sources. It's been blessed in numerous ceremonies. I'm going to pass the jar around. You're not obligated to do anything but pass it on if that's what you want to do. If you'd like to take a moment and just whatever silent thank yous or blessings you would like to give to the water, I will pass it around, and I will be using it in further ceremonies and giving it back to Earth. Some of it will be going to a ceremony that's happening in October with one of the Council of the 13 Indigenous grandmother Flor Mayo, who's not able to travel anymore. So thank you, water. And I thank each of you for your presence. So here is how we're going to proceed with our day. Refreshments are here for when you want them. We'll take a little break because we have 21 readers who signed up. At least one is coming later and one hasn't showed up. Now, I have here, this is the calendar of collaboration. And you're right, it is my kitchen calendar. And I'm putting your names in here, and I'll draw names. Reader, the names of who's going to read in sequence. Who's reading next? There are a few people who are amazingly here today when they have family members who have birthdays and have requested that they be able to read earlier on in the event. So those who let me know about that, yes. And the rest of us are in this little baggie. I also have for your participation the bowl of solidarity. Some of you will remember this. In this bowl are pieces of paper, and on each piece of paper there are the names of 2 communities that are participating in this event. So before you read your fabulous or sing or whatever you're performing today, if you will acknowledge those 2 communities and whatever words come to you, just to read their names is enough, whatever you feel is appropriate. Are you ready? Yes, of course you are. Okay. And I'd also like very much to acknowledge and thank Tom Brown, who's come from Richmond, and with his co-creator, Deborah. The 2 of Tom is audio recording and video, doing some video work as well. Photographs, of course, can be taken. And any documentation that we have I'll be sending it to the 100,000 Poets for Change founders, who will pass it on to Stanford University to be archived. So you are being noted. Are we ready? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mariana Dunn.
Okay, I'm reading in solidarity with Granada, Spain, and Tukwila, Washington. And my first poem is an original. I'm going to read one original and one by Sherman Alexie. I'm reading the original first, so I won't have to come after Sherman Alexie. This poem is called Response. Shove thick, sharp needles into our veins. We would like to bleed for you. We would like to open up our arms and give of our very bodies into yours. What else can we do for you? The sidewalks cannot contain us, or our flowers, cannot contain our teddy bears, our candles, or our prayers. Shall we tear down our buildings and raise them up again for you? Write your names on scraps of paper pushed into the diamond spaces of hurricane fences. Corey, Kafahi, Rachel, Kyle, Grace, Dianca, Javier, Chase, Mohammed, Kimberly, Lola, Shane, John Carlos, Dylan, Amber, Dawn. Our fences cannot contain all your names. We'll create trust for you, build monuments of steel for you. What else can we do for you? We'll shout each other down for you, ban all that we can for you, do anything but change for you. June 2016. The names are from the Oklahoma City bombing, Columbine, Sandy Hook, and Orlando. I couldn't fit in all the names. I pulled them all up. This is called Sonnet with Pride by Sherman Alexie. 1. In 2003, during the Iraq War, a pride of lions escaped from the Baghdad Zoo during an American bombing raid. 2. Confused, injured, unexpectedly free, the lions roamed the streets, searching for food and safety. 3. For just a moment, imagine yourself as an Iraqi living in Baghdad. You are running for cover as U.S. bombers like metal pterodactyls roar overhead. You are running for cover as some of your fellow citizens, armed and angry, fire rifles, rocket launchers, and mortars into the sky. You are running for cover as people are dying all around you. It's war, war, war. And then you turn a corner and see a pride of freaking lions advancing on you. 4. Now, imagine yourself a lion that has never been on a hunt, that has never walked outside of a cage, that has been coddled and fed all its life, and now your world is exploding all around you. It is war, war, war. And then you turn a corner and see a pride of freaking tanks advancing on you. 5. It's okay to laugh. He knew you were laughing. It's always okay to laugh at tragedy. If lions are capable of laughter, then I'm positive those Baghdad lions were laughing at their predicament. As they watched the city burn and collapse, I'm sure a lion has turned to a lion and said, "So, do you still think you're the king of the jungle?" 6. I don't know if the lions killed anybody as they roamed the streets. 7. But I guess they were too afraid. I'm sure they could only see humans as zookeepers, not food. 8. In any case, the starving lions were eventually shot and killed by U.S. soldiers on patrol. 9. It's a sad and terrible story, yes, but it's war, and war is everywhere. And everywhere there are prides of starving lions wandering the street. There are prides of starving lions wandering inside your hearts. 10. You might think that I'm using starving lions as a metaphor for homeless folks, but I'm not. Homeless folks have been used far too often as targets for metaphors. I'm using those starving lions as a simple metaphor for hunger. All of our hunger. 11. Food hunger, love hunger, faith hunger, soul hunger. 12. Who among us has not been hungry? Who among us has not been vulnerable? Who among us has not been a starving lion? Who among us has not been a prey animal? Who among us has not been a predator? 13. They say God created humans in God's image. But what if God also created lions in God's image? What if God created hunger in God's image? What if God is hunger? Tell me, how do you pray to hunger? How do you ask for hunger's blessing? How will hunger teach you to forgive? How will hunger teach you how to love? 14. Look out the window. It's all hunger and war, hunger and war, hunger and war, and the endless pride of lions.
anyone want water? Our next reader is Tony Russell. Oh,
Düsseldorf, Germany, and Mumbai, India. Do you want me to make the
Go right
announcement?
ahead. Tony has an event to announce.
Next Friday at 7 o'clock at the Central Library downtown, a poet from Chile is visiting the United States. His name's Christian Formoso. He is a past winner of the Pablo Neruda Prize in Chile, and his visit is sponsored by the Chile Council of Arts, and Charlottesville is going to be the jump-off place for his U.S. tour. So I'm hoping more than a handful of people shows up to hear his presentation and his reading that evening. He'll be there with the two people who translated his last book into English, or co-translated it with him. He's bilingual. So next Friday, September 30th, 7 o'clock at the Central Library at the McIntyre Room. They're going to open up especially for us. They close at 5 o'clock and reopen at 6:30.
Thank you, Tony. And it is going to be listed in this upcoming week's Greater House newsletter. I sent the information.
So thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. My pleasure. I had other announcements, but I forgot to do them.
You can read
At
the
intermission.
minutes, yes.
Yeah, I'll leave it as intermission.
Can everybody hear all right? Okay. I don't hear so well, so I want to be sure that I'm loud enough. This first poem is all about change. When I stopped to think about it, almost all of the stories my mother read to me when I was very small, before I could read myself, were about change, whether it was Elves and the Shoemaker, or Jack and the Beanstalk, or Cinderella, one after another. Those stories all open up the possibility that the rabble can somehow rise out of their chimney corners and widowhood and orphan state, and somehow become go into what they were meant to be, I guess. This is based on, plays with the story of Jack and the Beanstalk. It's called This is the Place. And I want you to think of this as being the place, right here, right now. This is the place where you have the choice of swapping your sacred cow, whatever it is, control, success, office, wealth, for nothing more than seeds of belief in yourself. This is the place where you meet a stranger who somehow helps you believe it's worth taking a risk. This is the place where you trade your cow not for the money your mother desired, but for seeds that allow you to climb higher than her timid hopes ever aspired. This is the place where, as much as you love her, you leave your mother behind. This is the place where your culture, in disgust at your failure to meet expectations, opens the window and tosses out the seeds of the unknown, everything you might become. This is a place where those seeds sprout, here tonight, where your courage, your cleverness, your talent, your quick wit touch the soil and take root. This is the place they didn't teach you about in school, a place above the clouds of culture, filled with giants and booming voices, terrors and stolen treasure. This is the place where you're on your own, a place of dread, hunkered in a giant's oven. Your bones could become his bread. This is the place where tyranny is near and real, bent on consuming you. This is the place where you take back all the wealth you were meant to inherit, stolen from your father by those in power. This is the place where you take an axe to taboos and lies and illegal laws, wrong expectations, miseducation, misinformation, and indoctrination. This is the time and place where the giant falls. The second poem is called Be Practical. So much that passes for good advice forms a tiny box with the label, Be Practical. As small as it is, you can stuff your whole life in it. That's considered intelligent. Stupid is anything else. At bottom, this practicality is all about safety and money. They're indistinguishable, really. You're encouraged to worry continually in pursuit of a receding future free from worry. Wisdom boils down to money management. Education is simply an investment. So is the place you live. Work becomes a career, leading to secure retirement. Love takes the form of insurance. You can't buy too much to protect your health, your house, your car, your kids, your wife, your life. Anything else is impractical. And yet, there are those whose practicality takes other forms, opens rather than contains. They speak of and commit themselves to practice, trace it to its root in the miraculous. What could be more practical than that? Is aiming to allow yourself to be removed from the center of the picture so very foolish? To surrender rather than conquer? To combine action with contemplation? To practice reverence for whatever name you use to signify the nameless? To love others on earth through your practice as monks and astronomers, mechanics and healers, gardeners and gatherers, nuns and singers, potters and farmers, painters and carpenters, masons and dancers, pupils and masters, mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, friends and neighbors.
Our next reader is William Borat.
I'm reading in solidarity with Bora, Bangladesh, and New York City. Is
All
that
right.
correct? I write short poems that take about a minute to read, so I'm probably going to read about 4 or 5 poems. And most of them touch on the topic of change. The first one is a seasonal poem called Apple. Apple ripens wondrously at the perfect rate to realize its myriad potentials, sweet or tart, red, green, or yellow, reaching maturity, embraced by sun and air, only to be plucked from its lofty cradle, protective seal peeled away, cool juices drained, golden meat consumed, until only the core remains, the apple's essence, born from a season of growth, then decay, sweet quintessence, tart stimulation, crafted over time, the apple generously gifts seeds for a budding tomorrow. This next poem is a reflection on our connection with ancient civilizations, and it was inspired by the 5,000-year-old Chinese jade discs that are at the Smithsonian. I don't know if any of you have seen those. They're really incredible. There's a whole entire room of these 5,000-year-old, beautifully crafted jade Chinese discs. This is called Jade Bee at the Freer Gallery. An entire room of beautifully cut and ground Chinese jade discs reaching to us from across 5,000 years. Mysterious communications from our emerging civilization. If truth is simple, might these objects answer a great mystery? Suggest the secret to our sacred cycle of birth and death and birth? Mandela-like, they speak of a continuous journey through sorrow and joy, dark and light, need and enlightenment. They speak of a powerful energy burning at the core of our cosmic and spiritual journey. Look even closer. One may find inscribed on the disk's surface a tiny human figure, frightened but hopeful that their unique life journey mostly goes well. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's called Living Fires. Fertile cauldrons of vital, renewing energy planted deep in the impenetrable dark. Cosmic nourishment radiating from the eternal yesterday and tomorrow. Dormant in our evolving now. Fuel from beyond. Life's power, death's promise, all gloriously manifest in the vast, vibrant universe, in each and every sacred, tiny, living cell. This poem is a comment on the ancient question of whether illumination comes gradually or immediately in a sudden process. It's called the switch. The switch must exist on a wall somewhere, usually near a door. Darkness is such a problem, causing one to stumble over bulky furniture or fall down seemingly bottomless holes. Maybe it is hidden inside my head, just beneath the surface, somewhere between the eyes. Really bright light would be great in so many ways. I just need more time looking. Perhaps the switch was replaced by a circular dimmer, making illumination more gradual, not just on or off. Dan has to be here somewhere. My last poem, I actually read at the last event from this group, and it's called Connected. Connected, each identical, each different, all connected. From before conception to beyond death, all connected. In triumph and defeat, all connected. In feast and famine, poverty and wealth, all connected. In love and hate, hope and fear, all connected. Growing beyond the moment, reaching for the golden light, all eternally connected. Thank you.
Alright. You can stay. Okay.
I should be able to. I think it's nice, I try to support it.
Our next reader is Vicky O'Brien.
All right, I've just got, oh, I'm reading in solidarity with A of Greece and Reno, Nevada. All right. This first one I wrote, I'm just going to read two. This first one I wrote in response to the Dakota pipeline protests. And I was just a little surprised that I hadn't seen anything on the news, and I was finding this out from my Western friends. And so this is called Dakota. While I appreciate the honesty and the truth of people's words, there is some danger in the anger when I review what I have heard. News media is selecting battles that bewitch the public eye, while our natives wrestle with their lives in a silenced battle cry. Should someone tumble our monuments and relics of the past, we'd surely get atop the issue and squash the perpetrator fast. They who is they say no propaganda exists, that only foreign bodies manipulate the citizens in their midst. Yet no channel on the television shows me what persists, of Indian nations fighting our land's war alone, as the remaining majority chooses to desist. This last one is called One Blood In, One Blood Out. What are you? Repeatedly asked. American, I say, whispering dumbass as I walk away. Don't want to be angry, don't want to be sad, but a lifetime of this and I'm starting to get mad. Been called a model, been called a leader, been called a spick and a wetback, a dumb Pollock, but it wasn't a setback. I've been raped, I've been beaten, I've had a gun put to my head. I've been trapped, I've been gagged, even thought better off dead. So when "what are you?" is asked from the U.S. melting pot, I should say I'm just like you, a survivor in this dwelling spot. For over 250 years, British man has made home of this soil. I'm not from any originating country of discovery or slavery, only born into the pot to boil. We've all been stewed and burned, oppressed and scourged. Now is not the time for our paths to diverge. What are you, they will ask? Let's all shout. We are all Americans. One blood in, one blood out. One dies, we all die, from the inside out.
That was great. Thank you, Nikki. I've totally stepped out of my schedule of what I was planning to do and everything.
Spontaneity.
Just keeps moving.
Poetic license. Oh, I don't know.
Alright, thank you, Nikki. Alright. But before I forget, I really wanted to begin by acknowledging the Monacan Nation. The Monacan Nation ancestors and their descendants who walked this land before any of us were here. And I'd like to thank the Writer House founding board members and the current board members for giving us the opportunity to meet in this space. And Tony's already announced the Friday, September 30th event sponsored by the Black Poet Society and at the Central Library. And quick, 2 other events. On Saturday, September 1st, Writer House has a seminar on tools for the trade, research and reporting for creative writers, and a literary salon at 5:30, both with Bronwyn Dickey. She's the author of the acclaimed book Hit Bill, the Battle Over an American Icon.
Okay, go.
You can find out more information about that on the Writer House website, which is writerhouse.org. And Friday, October 21st at 6:30 in the building across the street, Writer House has a wine tasting fundraiser event called Words and Wine. Words and Wine. You heard the word. So, that's enough announcing. We'll do a couple, yes ma'am.
I want you to turn off the sound on the cell phones for taking photographs so that it doesn't interfere with the recording. If anyone takes photos on the cell phone, you should turn off the sound, you don't get the video.
Thank you.
That's good.
Ready? Boil, 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 trouble, all good burn, and fire everyone till the night. Our next, he's not here yet. The next reader is Irene Wellman. Welcome.
There we go. Okay, the solidarity with Perizaj, Kosovo, and Paz San Nicolas Cambio. Okay. Now, I'm going to read a couple of 3 poems. And I've been writing some poems to my granddaughter who's not yet born. So I've been doing a series of poems
And I'm also going to read a poem by Pablo Neruda, who wrote a particular poem in 1948 when I was born. So there's a kind of connection, okay? So my first poem is about my doctor, and it's called Basira's Garden. Basira is a friend of ours, and went to see her, okay, and to read some poetry with her. So Basira's Garden for my granddaughter. 5 hummingbird feeders hung along the eaves of Basira's back deck. 5 red plastic flowers for sipping. 12 hummingbirds darted by our heads, disturbed, drawing crisscrossing shapes before us. Some, suspended in the stormy air, watched us as we talked, their calls tiny as the buzz of bees, beaks sharp, wings whirring, the veil's droopy throats lighting up the dusk, until, unable to pull us away, they flew to their pine nests as if reeled up on long strings. Then we saw in terror, as through a microscope, their dinosaur fierceness as they dove inches by our raised hair down for the sweet nectar. While you curled there, waiting for birth, not knowing yet the summer storms, hummingbirds, evenings of poetry, the sights and flights we'll see. Now this poem is by Pablo Neruda. As I said, he wrote it about, and I'm sorry to say, he wrote it about the president of Chile, who had many times imprisoned many people, he was a dictator, and Neruda had to, was tried, for treason, so he had to flee Chile and lived on an island. So I just like this poem because it reminds me of somebody. What can you do, scoundrel, against the air? What can you do, scoundrel, against everything that flowers and surges and is silent and watches and awaits me and judges you? Scoundrel, you bought everything with your betrayals. You must constantly irrigate everything with your coins. Scoundrel, you can exile, imprison, and torture and pay on the double before the sellout repents. You'll only be able to sleep surrounded by hired guns, while I, fugitive of the night, live in my country's bosom. How pitiful your transient little victory, while Aragon, Ehrenberg, Eloy, the poets of Paris, the brave writers of Venezuela, and untold others are with me. You, scoundrel, amid Escamilla and Cuevas, Peruchino and Poblete, I, on ladders that my people assume, in corridors that my people conceal, upon my country in its dove's wing, sleep, dream, and demolish your borders. Is a kind of, it's a very new poem, so it's a kind of poem on the future and my granddaughter. Is this the same world you'll see, granddaughter, when you grow as old as I? Or will it be eternal? Will the seas rise and rise? Will war come and dark, desperate days? I fear to see you fleeing, carrying your last food. As a boiling, heavy cloud follows you, because we have done nothing now to help you, chosen only our own selfish ways, forgotten future. And our eyes, and your eyes that will know perhaps only heat and hardship and pain. It seems we have a choice, little one, to give you peace or not. To change this great weight, to shift what seems too hard, to save you and your generation. A green and open space, a green glade redolent with flowers, these grasses turning in wind.
Thank you, Winnie. Bill Cipher. Well, you can read the whole ball.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
I'm reading in solidarity with Leeds and Oaxaca, Mexico. Am I pronouncing that correctly? A frog in my throat and I are having a skirmish, and the frog is dead.
Would you like some water?
It's okay. The frog is good in water. About 10 years ago, a man in Pittsburgh set out and systematically executed about 8 people of varying ethnicities, absolute strangers, shot them one by one. This is called Pittsburgh Fathers and Sons. There was a time when mill smoke darkened Pittsburgh skies. Everyone came from somewhere else. Jablonskis, Montanos, Steins, and O'Rourke's lived side by side on hills, in hollows, clothed in red-black smoke, not in fairy tale harmony, but it got along. Fathers then were steel mill strong, insisted that their sons be too, expected them to stand and fight when taunted by some local bully with a slightly different nose or skin. They pick on you, give it to them substantial. The father's only creed, not what the church would teach, but it kept the neighborhood at peace. That's what fathers taught their sons under darkened industrial skies. The results should not surprise. Bruises, black eyes, wounded pride. Sons took their knocks, no sissies on their block. Ethnic cleansing then meant little more than differences on wash days. In this brightening new millennium, the skies are light. Computers hum, but now the father's sons settle scores with guns. Lifeless bodies bleed on streets, grieving families deal with death, not pride, as in an earlier time. Deadly feuds without an end. That's just how it plays out, my friend. News shows repeat. In our enlightened nation, mills no longer churn out soot, but we are darkening within. Somehow we got the notion that disagreements cannot linger. They must be ended with a bang, not a whimper, with a trigger finger on a gun in the hand of some man's son. An ugly element's been added to a grossly simplified expression. Now, if you're not equal, you can balance the equation by adding a Glock or 38 to your side of the not equal sign. In this strange new math, grim in its simplicity, one man plus gun equals anyone. Rough and tall, weak and small, one size fits all. The only muscle needed is enough to pull the trigger. It will continue without end, as long as we believe guns will make us safer. Yeah, safer bets to be the butt of some pipsqueak emboldened punk, or some man mountain crazed and drunk. A few have turned the Bill of Rights into a fearful bill of wrongs. On hillside resting places all over town, north side, south side, those who came from somewhere else, and those who came from here sleep side by side. I have Robert Frost to thank for the title of this next one. It's called Whose Woods These Are. Whose woods these are? Of course I know. They're mine. Court top records plainly show. I own them. Still, something gives me pause. How can I own a woods, an island, or a shore? I could as well lay claim to clouds or to a patch of sky or a swath of sea. That's not pure fantasy. Some try with mixed success to do just that, but they are governments who mark airspace and seas with lines of longitude and latitude, minutes and degrees, and claim them for their own. If governments can own what is ethereal with markers never seen, then surely I can own a chunk of land whose surfaces are tangible, clearly marked with walls and fences, no trespass signs and such. And I can defend my land, stop those who tread on it, threaten them with fists or guns, or when that is unavailing, take them to court, because, my God, I own it. I can as well defend my land from aerial assault. I can scare away marauding crows bent on stealing my newly planted corn, or drive off a hawk or an owl that wants to grab the sparrows nesting in my eaves. Or rail, perhaps, and shake my fist at screaming, overflying military jets. Talk about a futile gesture. But in some quiet moments, doubt returns. Indeed, the question is not, can I own, but should I? The thought discomforts me. We officially divide our planet into parcels, then lamely ask why that is so divisive. To own a wood seems selfish and unreal. We here in momentary residence came to this planet late, and willy-nilly will be leaving early, unlike the land we claim to own and occupy. I'm a placeholder, a source of taxes. It comes a little more. So go ahead, walk across our woods and fly across our patch of sky. The final one is called Purple Hearts and Minds, Fort Hood, Texas. After the massacre, the gruff general held a news conference. Like so many of the type, hastily called, little known, and what is known cannot be told. Routine blather until a reporter asked if E4 Lopez had ever been wounded. Nope, was the crisp reply. 4 months in Iraq, but no wounds, no Purple Heart. But Ivan Lopez had been wounded, just not in the way that garners Purple Hearts. Like 500,000 others who served in the muddle of the Middle East, his wounds were hidden. Paranoia, depression, anger, and confusion. We do not count the psychic wounds of the 22 veterans bedeviled by their time at war who kill themselves each day. They come home dazed and at a loss. They know they are messed up, but cannot help themselves. Sorry, Ivan, you didn't earn the color purple over there, like some who ran through enemy fire to save their brothers. You merely drove a truck on roads paved with homemade bombs that blew your brothers into the sky. You watched them fall to earth minus parts. But you lost no parts. You shed no blood. Ivan, try to understand. You came home intact, or so it seemed. Your wounds could not be seen. No, his don't count. You earned no medals over there. You only gained distinction here. Took out your anger at Fort Hood, shot men you did not know, just like in war. And then in one last moral act, shot yourself for what you've done. Your real self-inflicted wound got their attention. Maybe Army Grass can find you a purple, heart-shaped purple casket.
Thank you, Tony. We didn't get you in a picture. Our next reader is Carol Cutler. Welcome, Carol.
I'm reading in solidarity with Genova, Italy, and Racine, Wisconsin. I think I pronounced it right. Racine.
Stanton's
I'm ready for a break. Thinking large, I put my priorities out there. With thanks to Gene Rader, geologist, Jerry Kruger, writing critique partner, and the Washington Post reporters Dan Sack. Climate change. Geologists are debating whether Earth has arrived at a new epoch, the Anthropocene, of the Quaternary period, of the Cenozoic era. Science provides a structure by which to organize unfathomable ages. Accordingly, if it's agreed that we are in the Anthropocene, human civilization with intelligence and verve will have cut short the Holocene by a few million years. Skies laden with carbon emissions, oceans warming, forests fading, mining and drilling of carboniferous rock could make our impact on the planet brief but brilliant. The imprint of our lives, if any can be found, may be viewed one day as interesting fossils by beings who emerged to welcome the next epoch. The next poem is related to that one. It's called Nuclear Exchange. Thinking large. 14 countries are up to date with 150,000 nuclear warheads. U.S., UK, China, Russia, France have promised non-proliferation. And to assure the balance up to the minute and strategically place non-nuclear countries, the Netherlands, Turkey, Germany, and many others, host warheads on their soil. And then there's North Korea, Pakistan, Israel, India. Who gets to decide when to throw the first rock, or what to do, or what is to be done with the reckless, the hateful, the show-offs, and the bullies? Certainly not a poet. Yet I yearn for proliferation of all our imaginations with the energy, fusion, and vision to create a reality of what could better be exchanged.
Thank you, Carol.